Hey guys, what is up? It's Gibbs here with Vainglory, and today we're going to run through the 1.15 patch notes. First up, we have Stormlord Arden. These animations are absolutely gorgeous. It's one of the best tier 3 skins in the game. I'll put a video link in the description so you guys can check out all the new skins. Then we have Star Queen Celeste tier 2, and I love this right here, the bottom of her dress with the little sparks. Reminds me of the Hunger Games, like she's just going to erupt in flames. Probably not unless Scarf says so. And next up we have this awesome seasonal limited edition Night Shadow Taka skin. I think they're saying it's like 30 bucks worth of ice, but there are ways to get it. Right here how it works. So you need 16 Night Shadow Taka legendary cards. They're going to have events like Crazy 8 and stuff. They have a special card box. So you can probably get it without actually paying for it. Just play a lot if you really want that skin. The winter season's coming to an end. We have the NA Live Finals, the EU Finals coming up soon. And probably my favorite part of this is the respawn timer. The respawn timer, they were doing 15%, now it's 10%. So there's a 5% difference in the death timers per turret kill. Games were lasting 30 minutes way too easily. And pretty much this is going to make those 30 minutes games last about 27 minutes. Possibly. It's not like something huge, but touching this right here is really going to change the game and how it flows. So 5% I can agree with. Hoping in the future it may come down a little more. We'll see what happens. The jungle monsters, they're now going to scale with the team net gold rather than the time in game, which means, if you get behind, they're not necessarily going to be two-shotting you. So jungle monsters is a little bit easier to farm. All right, so next up's the hero balance changes. First up's Cruel. His passive, they fixed the bugs. It works like it's supposed to. His A ability, they took away all the weapon ratio on it. They took away the damage on it, so it's not going to hit as hard. The barrier duration, so the barrier is going to last longer if you go crystal by 0.2% of your crystal ratio. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it can come in clutch. The barrier is up if you go crystal. Pretty much they upped it by 50% crystal ratio and a little bit of base. So you're going to have a bigger barrier. It's going to be a longer barrier if you go crystal. And the damage is not going to be like, boom, there's half your health. Spectral Smite here. Spectral Smite, the damage per stack has been changed. So crystal ratio on it, the damage per stack is going up. The base heal on it is about it did get increased in the beginning, and then the late game it kind of falls off. The heal per stack has been changed. It goes up 20% crystal power and a little bit on the base. And right here, no longer reduces target's crystal power or attack speed by 10%. So he used to do that. He used to reduce their crystal power and their attack speed. But now what he does is he just reduces all of their damage output by 6.25% per stack. So against certain matchups in the jungle, Cruel's going to be a little bit weaker. But the majority of matchups in the jungle, Cruel's going to probably be a little bit stronger. So this right here on his weakness is an overall, it's not really a buff, nerf. It's kind of like a balance change. I'm going to say it's a buff. From Hell's Heart, they changed the stun duration by 0.2 seconds, which can add up if you get a long one. Fortress, his wolves, so strong. They're getting stronger, huh? Yeah, they're getting stronger. They're now going to scale like this, 300, 400, 600 health. Or excuse me, 450, 600. Armor, shield, plus 20% of Fortress's bonus defensive stats. But the wolves can be affected by anything. So not just basic attacks now. You used to have to hit them for 3 basic attacks. Now you can hit them with anything. Celeste Stars, Scarf Spitfires, you can hit them with anything. But basic attacks, if you basic attack it, it's still going to take 3. Fortress's health gained is going up by a little bit. We have Petal. No. Petal is already a very solid pick. She's a little bit on a scale 1 to 10 right now. She's probably a 4 in my opinion. She just doesn't get played a lot, and she's getting a pretty big buff. So the health on her minions is coming up by a lot. It's coming up 50 at level 1, by 50 health at level 1, plus 15% crystal power. The armored and shield is down by a good bit, but the base health on it is coming up, and the damage on it is coming up by a little bit. And here's a big thing, the trampoline. So the trampoline, if you activate it, it's going to increase your weapon power, increase your crystal power. And it's going to increase your crystal power by up to 35%, which is a lot. The cooldown on it is up, but trampoline is going to increase your crystal power and your weapon power. Vox got a slap on the wrist, it looks like. But somebody brought up a good point. Remember whenever they took away the basic attack reset on Rona and she went completely south? I doubt that's going to happen with Vox. Vox is, he's a very strong, solid pick right now. but they did take away the basic attack reset after he uses A ability. It's going to be noticeable probably, not too noticeable. So it's a fair change on him. And his ultimate, the hitbox is, they didn't change any damage or anything, they just changed the hitbox on it. It's going to match how it looks in game. Then we have Ringo. Energy cost on A ability down. The damage has been adjusted. It's going to be increased with crystal ratio. So we got 15% increase on crystal ratio on his A ability. The twirling silver, the energy cost is up, so you can't spam it a lot. The bonus attack speed is down at the earlier ranks. So he was really strong early. He's not going to be attacking as fast. He's still going to be attacking fast, but as you can see, it's like 55 to 50 at level 1. It's going to change stutter stepping a little bit, not too much. Then we have Koshka. This one hurts me because Koshka's my favorite. Increasing the cooldown on A ability by like 2 seconds at the earlier ranks. Her Twirly Death, the cooldown is up. Twirly Death stack duration down from infinite to 10 stacks, which to me, this is a nerf. This is actually a nerf directly to her late game. The Twirly Death stack duration, you could run up into lane, you could twirl. You could have stacks, you know, in the late game, nobody's really farming much. You're just kind of walking around waiting. And she could hold on to those stacks. But now she doesn't fight within 10 seconds in the late game. After she gets stacks, it's she doesn't have them anymore. So she doesn't have that damage. It's kind of a nerf on her late game. Her cooldowns have been increased in the early game, so they're pretty much nerfing her all around. Energy cost on Twirly Death is up in the earlier ranks. Rhyme, one of the strongest junglers in my opinion. He has one of the fastest clear times, if not the fastest clear time. They're buffing his A ability, the delayed damage, so you hit it once, like you cast it, it does damage, and then it explodes kind of. And they're upping the damage on both of those, but they're taking the Valkyrie damage down. So focus more on his A ability, I guess. He did have massive burst with the A and ultimate combo, but they're nerfing the Valkyrie, buffing the A. I don't think it'll affect too much as far as his early game is actually going to be stronger, which will help him out in the mid to late game, so hopefully he doesn't have to rely on his ult too much. Rona, the potato factory, the damage is coming up 5%. Pretty much they're increasing Rona damage by 5, but she doesn't get blood rage when you land on enemies with her A ability. And the red mist is kind of confusing. She gets fortified health every second during red mist, and it's going to work properly now. But they reduced the fortified health generated from this ability. So she's not going to get as much fortified health, but she is going to work properly. They gave her 5% more damage, but she doesn't really get much blood rage from her A ability. Kind of, they raised her attacks up. They sort of put her abilities down a little bit. But all in all, it's kind of, she's going to be a little bit stronger. A little bit stronger. I don't know if she's actually going to be a lot stronger. They say up here that she was out of control. Pretty hard to believe. She's out of control. So let's see if we can get her out of control in the live. And we have Finn. Finn got a buff. He got, what, 79 increase in his level 1 health, which is a lot. The Polite Company is B ability. The damage is up. Fortified health duration is up if you max it. And the pull distance is up. So pull distance in the early game is 25%. Is now 30 across all ranks. Now if you max it, you get 35% pull range. But now it's just 30 at all ranks. So pretty much just get it once. If you want the cooldown on it, max it out. But remember that B ability, the fortified health duration max is going to be 4 seconds instead of 3. Kestrel, her reload time is back to 3.3 seconds. So she'll be able to spam a little bit more. And the trap damage is receiving a crystal buff, like a pretty significant crystal buff. If you sit in her trap and get trapped, it's going to do a lot of damage now. It was doing a very heavy, decent amount before, but now it's going to do a lot of damage. So don't run into Kestrel traps. Taka, you know how his B ability healed him a lot? Well, it's going to heal him even more now. His X-Rezu no longer skips the wind-up animation. I don't know if you've noticed, but Taka now, he like winds up and then goes in. Scarf, Dragon Breath damage is up at early ranks, like 550 to 650. Not much. I'm probably still not going to use it. I'll probably still continue to max A and B, but it is a step in the right direction. If you can land a perfect ultimate though, these things can be very, very deadly. Celeste got a huge buff. I'm saying huge buff, they only changed one thing, But her core collapse cooldown is down from 24 seconds to 16. That's 8 seconds. 8 seconds they took off her core collapse in the early. Like late game is still 10, but they took off 8 seconds in the early. They say brings more utility without adding extra damage. Well, when you bring a stun in, it adds more damage, right? You're stunned more often, so there's more damage technically, but it's not like the stun duration's increased or anything. It's a very, very solid buff to Celeste. Ozu, they clarified about his damage, and he's going to heal a little bit more now. Adagio is kind of like, they don't want Crystal Adagio running around wrecking everything. So what they did was they took off the crystal ratio. They took, 15% off of it. And they gave it a little bit more burst heal to make up for that. So Adagio is still strong, just not as strong crystal, but still very solid. Saul was weak in the he was weak in the late game, very strong in the early game. They're taking away a lot of his armor and shield early. So they took it down to 20 to 8. They removed 12 of his armor and shield at level 1. It's a lot. It's pretty much deserved because, Saul is very, very strong early. Now you can, when you hit him, it's going to do a little bit more damage. And late game, 64, 76, it's not too much of a difference late game. Frostburn price increased. I can agree with that. Home screen improvements. The news is now going to display prominent news. The end of match survey. Make sure to do the surveys because Matchmaker, they're trying to get feedback from Matchmaker. Bug fixes. Pretty much the just text fix. Taka X Red Zoo. You'll actually notice this with the wind up animation. The heroes, the pathing. So the auto pathing's better. You won't get stuck on walls more often, And the ability overlays can be dismissed while silenced. So if you cast like Celeste A ability and you get silenced, you can't really cancel that huge circle that pops up. But now you can cancel it. So if you have any questions or comments, let me know what you guys think about the patch notes in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video.